My name is Jeffrey Mustard. I'm in 11th grade. I was pretty interested in coding since I was pretty young, and one night I learned batch coding, which is kind of my introduction to coding, I suppose. And it's a pretty simple language, but it's a really good introductory language, and it's a language that kind of commands Windows computers. It's really basic, but it's a good way to learn, and that was kind of my introduction to it. The most difficult part of it is finding it in the first place, especially when it's a company like Norton, when they have so many different products and websites, and so I focused on just the ones that I use, and the app that I was using at the time from Norton was Norton App Lock, which is in the event that your phone is stolen or accessed somehow, it still puts all your apps behind a passcode, which will prevent anyone from actually taking your data if they do get through your main passcode. And so when I was working on that, I found that when you go to reset the passcode for it, they have you go through your Google account, but however, they didn't check which Google account was being logged into. So I could modify which account it was sending the email to, and then that would allow the attacker to reset the passcode and access the apps without actually knowing your login to your email. My main college that I want to go to is MIT because they have some really good technology and robotics programs, which I'm very interested in. However, I was thinking about doing my undergrad locally, primarily due to the fact that my GPA may be a bit too low to go to MIT, mainly because during my freshman year and stuff I kind of slacked off, and also because 21st Century Scholars covers anything in Indiana, so it'd be nice to have a stable job when I get into college, preferably remote, so the move doesn't change it. So then my undergrad would be paid for locally, and then I have a higher chance of getting into MIT. I wanted to work at Google X, which is a company responsible for making kind of like sci-fi technology and stuff into a reality, which is really cool. They've worked on things. They've worked on some basic things, like a nice project they had going was Loon, which is where they would deliver internet connections to people in rural areas or places that weren't so good off, using a network of balloons, which was pretty cool. But they also work on a lot crazier stuff like teleportation, which they were unsuccessful with, and hoverboards, which they were successful with, surprisingly, but it's not very realistic to put into the common person's hand, so they never actually were able to make that into a product. But they work on a lot of really cool projects like that, and that's kind of what I want to do when I get older. So.